so that you're going to have us take leadership role in this engagement so that we can build our country. The third point, Your Excellency, is that the next time you have a cabinet reshuffle, please get engineers to be cabinet secretaries, to head parastatos as MDs, DGs, and CEOs. Your Excellency, we have a packed program, and we are very grateful you honored us with your presence, and you are going to be part of the history of engineers in this country for the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Sharma. Your Excellency, with your kind permission, I now bring the second speaker on stage, the President-elect of the Federation of Africa Engineer Organizations, Engineer Refilwe Buthelezi. Karibu sana. Let's give a warm round of applause.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Deputy President, may I ask you to allow me to stand on the protocols that have been observed earlier this morning, and I greet you all distinguished guests, fellow engineers. I would like to start off by congratulating Kenyan nation. I observed a public holiday, you called it tree planting. I think that is a step in the right direction. You have made sure you're taking everybody with you in promoting and observing and creating awareness for climate change. I do believe you will reach your goal of planting 15 billion trees within the next 10 years if you remain consistent. Congratulations to you all Kenyans. I did enjoy that today. The Federation of Engineering Organization within the African continent stands for a beacon of unity, a beacon of collaboration and progress across the entire continent. And with that, we understand that as a structure, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do in ensuring there's harmony in terms of our standards, in ensuring that we leverage from one another, in ensuring the skills is transferred, Your Excellency. And I do believe that as a federation, I would like the Kenyan Engineering Society to understand that we are here to listen. We are here to support. But not only that, we are also here to plead with yourselves as our leader to continue supporting the institution of the engineers of Kenya. As the President-elect of FAYO, it would be remiss of me to only identify the brains in this room, Your Excellency. We do have technologists, we do have technicians, and I would like to encourage the engineers in this room to start collaborating. We are not going to get it only on our own as engineers. We are taught different skills across the board. We need one another. Let us start collaborating so that the next time we have this, there is power in masses, there is power in numbers. We can achieve a lot more. And let me tell you, as engineering professionals, I promise you, if we can unite, you will see an engineering professional in cabinet because we have the numbers. So let us think different. Let us think different and we can certainly achieve it. As the FAYO President-elect, I do promise that within FAYO, we will establish a political desk. I have heard that our professionals would like to participate in politics. I have heard that our professionals would like to take part in policy making, and I promise and I encourage all of you to do so. What we will do from our side is create an enabled environment for you to achieve that. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Engineer Refilwe. Your Excellency, I now ask your permission to invite the World Council of Civil Engineers President, Engineer Jorge Emilio Abramian. Karibu sana, let's give him a warm round of applause.
Good morning to you all. I'm very pleased and honored to be among all these distinguished people in this wonderful country blessed by the nature. Let me say that it's not very usual to have in this kind of engineering meetings a vice president or a ministry. Not in my country. The next step will be to make engineers be part of the decision process. Here we are gathering communion. We represent the engineering community. IEK has put together with great effort. I know what these efforts, worth to put together a meeting like this. And that is for us to enjoy, learn, and share. As engineers, we are curious. We try to understand how things work. In my case, I'm here with great expectations. It is not true that engineers only focus on physics, mathematics. On the contrary, the engineer's problem-solving capacity is closely related to the evolution of humanity, associated with progress and the health and wealth of the people. You know that I represent the World Council of Civil Engineers, an organization created to promote the profession and its values. We educate our people to fight corruption. We give chances to engineers to meet peers all over the world. We give opportunities for continued education and to participate in international technical teams at no cost. I am here to participate in the General Assembly of the World Council of Civil Engineers that will run parallel to this convention. But as important as that, I also humbly come to learn about your culture that intrigued me since I was a teenager. I come to admire your mountains, your sea, your jungle, and most of all, to meet your people that are courteous, warm, kind, always with a smile on the face. I'm here to serve you and to offer you the little I might know. Heartily, Asante.
Thank you very much, Engineer Emilio. Your Excellency, with your kind permission now, allow me to invite the next speaker, who is the World Federation of Engineers Organization's President, Engineer Shehu B. Mustafa. A warm round of applause to Engineer as he comes to make his address.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Republic of Kenya, Your Excellencies, the Presidents of IEK, EBK, FAEO, WCCE, national member institutions, including the Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellows and members of the Institution of Engineers Kenya. Let me say I'm very delighted to be part of this gathering this morning. And for me, having taken over as the president of World Federation of Engineering Organization, this is actually my first outing in that position in Africa. For that reason, I have to say a very big thank you to IEK and all the national member institutions that have really contributed very much to what we are witnessing today in the WFEO. Our ascension to the apex leadership of the global engineering body could not have been possible if there is no cooperation within the African engineering fraternity. And for us to remain relevant at the global level, that cooperation has to be maintained and sustained in the years ahead. Another thing I want to draw our attention to regarding this development is the fact that the African engineer is now trusted at the global level. His colleagues at the global level have confidence in him because of his competence and his credibility. And for that reason, I'm very glad the Deputy President is here, and I have to say it loud and clear. Having been trusted at the global level, Your Excellency, it goes without saying that we should be trusted at home. And I am also joining my words with the words of the General Secretary, Sheme Kitemi, that the engineers here in Kenya and other African countries are really capable and willing to handle any responsibility, be it at the political space, at the policy space, or at project space. For us at WFU, I want to assure all the engineering institutions here present that the interests of the African engineering institutions must be protected. In that respect, I want us to collaborate more to ensure, first of all, we have more numbers of engineering institutions that register with the World Federation of Engineering Organizations and also participate actively in the affairs of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. It's one thing to be a member, it's another thing to be actively participating at the affairs of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. Another thing I want to draw our attention to is the issue of the necessity for us to have the African Engineers Register. We have in Europe the Engineers Europe, we have the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN Engineers Register. We should have the African Engineers Register that will give every African the platform and latitude to practice everywhere in Africa. We are trusting ourselves at individuals level, but we don't trust ourselves at institutional level. And I think the fact that Africa is the continent that needs more to be done in terms of infrastructure development, the opportunities are more in Africa, and we have to position ourselves so very well to make sure that we tap on these potentials we have within the African continent by having the African Engineers Register. On my part, as WFO President, I am collaborating with the African Union Commission as well as the United Nations to ensure that once we develop that register, they endorse it. With these few words, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody, and I'm looking forward to the communique that will be derived out of this conference for implementation as far as the WFO is concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Mustafa. Your Excellency, with your kind permission, allow me now to invite the Chairman, Engineers Board of Kenya, Engineer Erastus Mwongera. Karibu sana, Engineer. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Your Excellency, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Roads, Engineer Joseph Mbogwa, our host, the President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, Engineer Eric Kohaga. Your Excellency, allow me to observe the protocols previously pronounced. It gives me great pleasure and honor to be part of the 30th IEK International Convention 2023, themed Engineering a New World. Your Excellency, I wish to thank you for joining us for this convention. This is a testament of the high regard by the Kenya Kwanza government on engineers. His Excellency, the President, was with us in June for the Engineering Partnership Convention this year. We are also glad that over 20 engineers and been appointed in various high-level positions by His Excellency the President. The fruits of these appointments and the proper policies to support the professionalism will ensure the realization of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Your Excellency, at the Engineers Board of Kenya, we believe we must focus on developing engineering capabilities. Engineers are the driving force behind national projects, and their expertise and ingenuity are instrumental in shaping our nation. We must deliberately invest in their training, skills development, and knowledge enhancement to ensure that they are equipped to focus the challenges of the 21st century. The policies will see enterprises that produce local products emerge to expand, creating jobs, wealth, and transform the lives of ordinary Kenyans. It is for this reason, Your Excellency, that the board is keen on the entire value chain of engineering education, training, and practice. A proper education sets a basic standard for having a good engineer in training and practice. The board is therefore keen on ensuring engineering curricula at our universities meet the standards of producing a graduate engineer with the required minimum competencies. The board is therefore seeking our own government approach in ensuring the program accreditation framework is reviewed and harmonized within the stakeholders. The harmonization of engineering education standards will be critical in the bid of Kenya to accede to the Washington Accord. And Your Excellency, I want to inform you that in this continent of Africa, only 2 countries have achieved this accreditation, South Africa and Nigeria. We hope and are working very hard to be the third, hopefully by next year. That will enhance mobility and competencies of local engineers in the global liberalized market. And some of the tangible benefits, Your Excellency, will be like our universities becoming centers of excellence and attracting international students, and also our faculty being attractive globally, where they go and be external examiners and take short-term consultancy and teaching attainment. In conclusion, Your Excellency, it is imperative that we create a robust framework that ensures adherence to the quality standards, promotes transparency, and minimizes professional misconduct. By doing so, we can build an infrastructure that is resilient, sustainable, safe, and capable of withstanding the challenges posed by climate change, like we are already witnessing in parts of this country. We therefore seek your support in building such needed engineering technical capacities in the counties to ensure their projects are approved and supervised by professional engineers. In that note, I wish to stress the need of registering of projects by engineers to ensure quality and accountability is achieved. This photo was launched by His Excellency the President in June this year in Naivasha, and engineers are encouraged to register their projects there. With those few remarks, I wish to thank you, Your Excellency, and may God bless you abundantly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Erastus. Your Excellency, I humbly request to invite the next speaker, and that is the IEK President, Engineer Eric Ohaga. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Allow me just 1 minute to recognize some of the president present here, Your Excellency. I just want to appreciate the president of the World Council of Civil Engineers, Abraham. Just stand and wave, please. The president of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, Mustafa Shehu. The president of Engineering Council of South Africa now. You are not now the president of Africa. Please just stand and wave. The president of East African Federation of Engineering Organization, Engineer Collins Juma. The president of Sierra Leone Institution of Engineers, Engineer Trudy Morgan. The president of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Margaret Oguntala. The president of Burkina Faso Order of Civil Engineers, Engineer Kabore Sonia. The president of Ethiopian Society of Civil Engineers, Engineer Jonas Ayew. The president of Uganda Institution of Professional Engineer, Engineer Andrew Muhezi. And the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineers, Engineer Kobena Kompon. I also want to appreciate the presence of the Association of Consulting Engineers, Engineer Patrick Kwambulwa. The Vice President of FIDICH, Engineer James Mwangi. Eminent engineers in the room, just wave wherever you are. And the private sectors who have made this occasion a success. Wherever you are, we really appreciate you. Your Excellency, allow me to ride on all the protocol already established because of time. And I want to take this opportunity as the President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya to welcome our chief guest, the Deputy President. I can tell you this is history in the making. And this year, we are celebrating as engineering fraternity. I want to say that Kenya is privileged to host the 18th General Assembly of the World Council of Civil Engineers, and our President has just given his remarks. Further, Your Excellency, Kenya sits at the Executive Council of the World Council of the World Federation of Engineers, and we have Engineer Matalanga Nathaniel, representing all the national members of Africa there. Your Excellency, as a key stakeholder, engineers have participated in the Affordable Housing Forum in such rich and valuable manner right from the pre-tendering stage. We are grateful to the government for according us this opportunity together with the industry sector players. It is envisaged that the affordable housing projects will go a long way in just improving the socio-economic status of our citizens, but also to open up employment opportunities to our engineering students, graduate engineers for internships and training, and of course for industrial attachment for our university students. The Institution of Engineers of Kenya has constituted various technical working groups to address the urgent and emerging applied sciences based on economic and social issues, both at the local and international level. This includes Manufacturing Technical Working Group, and this is supposed to drive innovation. Climate Change Technical Working Group, this is supposed to drive climate-resilient designs, climate-resilient construction, and also climate-resilient operations and maintenance. We have also established at the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, Digitization Technical Working Group. And of course, you know, this is what is supposed to drive our economy as we go forward in areas of artificial intelligence, because the future is innovation. I also want to bring to your attention, Your Excellency, that the Institution of Engineers of Kenya has established and published the infrastructure scorecard, and we are looking at all the 47 counties in the various infrastructure and their level of development. And we shall be sharing this with the government just to appreciate what our counties and the various institutions are doing. Your Excellency, economic growth and sustainability are very core and central to the government administration world over. The major drivers for our developed economies all over the world is infrastructure development. Infrastructure is conceptualized, designed, implemented, operated, and maintained by these professionals that are here today. It is in this basis that the Institution of Engineers of Kenya makes a passionate appeal for the creation of Executive Engineering Advisory Council that is supposed to sit at the presidency. And I can assure you, these members seated here from the various disciplines of engineers would be able to assist the government on issues to do with infrastructure. So we are making this passionate appeal, that we have this creation of the Executive Engineering Advisory Council, which is also similar to the Economic Advisory Council that sits at the presidency, and we will be able to work together to move this country in the right direction. Your Excellency, sir, we also want to request the full implementation of the 40% local content. When you look around in this country, there are several major projects that are being undertaken, and it has come to our attention that even menial jobs, like the artisans, like the welders, like even traffic controllers, are actually being imported from other countries when we have young, energetic people who can be able to do that. We want to request that we reserve these particular opportunities for the TVET institutions that are churning out these numbers so that they can be able to move forward. On issues of pending bill, I want to take this opportunity to thank government, because last week there was a formation of a technical committee that is supposed to look at the pending bills. I can assure you, Your Excellency, that most of our consulting engineers fall within that particular bracket of the 60 billion. And most of these consulting engineers provide opportunities for the young people to train, for the young people to graduate and also get employment opportunities. And we believe that once we are able to clear these pending bills, then the consulting engineers will be able to get an opportunity to drive their economy. We also want to request, Your Excellency, that in order to train our graduate young engineers, we have over 2,500 graduate engineers coming out of our universities every single year. As we speak currently, we have 23,000 graduate engineers who have not transitioned into professional engineers. And the reason is because of lack of projects which they can attain practical training in this particular regard. We want to make a proposal to you, Your Excellency, that there are several projects that are being undertaken by various technical institutions, that if we could make a provision of just 2.5% of the value of those projects, then we'll be able to turn around these numbers in the next 5 years. In the counties, we are experiencing a serious lack of professionals. And Your Excellency, you challenged us in terms of the quack engineers, because there are people who are not properly trained and they are taking advantage of this to undertake some activities. And we are praying that if we are able to reinforce the competencies of our engineers and provide opportunities to our counties, then we should be able to have professional engineers and other professionals undertaking these activities at the counties. And this can only be made possible by ensuring that the welfare of engineers are well taken care of. Your Excellency, we already have a proposal on the scheme of service for engineering services here with the Ministry of Roads and Infrastructure. And we believe that once we are able to actualize this, then we should be able to attract, retain competent staff at the 47 counties and also the national institution, so that we are able to undertake our engineering function without much ado. Thank you so much, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Engineer Eric. Your Excellency, with your kind permission, allow me to bring on stage the Principal Secretary, State Department of Roads, Engineer Joseph Mbugua. A warm round of applause. Thereafter, he shall invite the Cabinet Secretary of Roads and Transport to invite you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, our beloved Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, our Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, IEK President, Engineer Ohaga, and all the visiting presidents, members of our Ministry and State Department, led by our CEOs and DGs. Your Excellency, allow me also to ride on the already established protocol in the interest of time. But before I enter into my speech, Your Excellency, it is historic that you have honored our profession by being our chief guest. You are the first, like the President said. And we are still grateful that His Excellency the President also honored the convention that we also had in Naivasha. And this is historic also. So through our Minister, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, history has also changed in this ministry. So we are also very grateful, Your Excellency and our Cabinet Secretary, for making it possible for the two top leadership of this administration to attend these important conventions. I'm delighted, Your Excellency, to join you this morning for the 30th Annual International Convention. This year's theme, Engineering a New World, is timely as it highlights engineers' critical participation in transforming economies. Congratulations, IEK and the EBK, for making it a success. Tuwapigie makofi. Your Excellency, thank you for finding time to be with us. Like I've said, amidst your very, very busy schedule, your presence here and that of His Excellency the President in June for the Engineering Partnership Convention 2023 highlights the critical value and appreciation the Kenya Kwanza government has on professionals. Please pass our appreciation to His Excellency for gracing the Engineering Partners Convention 2023 in June 2023. Your Excellency, the State Department is responsible for the regulation of engineering practices in Kenya. For this purpose, the registration of engineers is done by the Engineers Board of Kenya, and that of the technologists and technicians is also undertaken by the Kenya Engineering Technology Registration Board, which are also anchored in our State Department. The two regulators ensure that the engineering professionals work within their competencies, remain faithful to their professional ethics, and are continually up to date with their skills. The assurance, therefore, is that we have the right human resource to deliver the government commitments to the people of Kenya with respect to safe infrastructure and engineering systems. Your Excellency, the engineering fraternity is eager to listen to you as you expound on the government agenda towards economic transformation and the role they can play in making it a reality. Once again, thank you most sincerely for accepting the invitation to share your thoughts and vision for this country. It is now my singular honor and duty to welcome our Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, to make his remarks before welcoming you, Your Excellency. Thank you. May God bless you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, IEK President Eric Ohaga, of course my peers is here, President of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, Mr. Mustafa Shehu, World Council of Civil Engineers, President Engineer Joachim Abramain. Sorry, we only know how to pronounce Messi. We only know how to say Messi. Yeah. President of Africa Federation of African Engineers, Refilwe Budelezi, senior government officials here from the Ministry of Roads. We have also our honorable members of parliament, led by Engineer Kiragu, who is also a member of the committee. I don't know if my colleague, Engineer Kawaya Vincent, is still here. I saw him online. Is there any other member of parliament who is here? He was here yesterday. We joined the University of Nairobi the same day. So, and before he was called Kawaya, we were very active in the Christian Union, but that's a story. Distinguished stakeholders in the engineering profession, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, I have the greatest pleasure of standing here to invite His Excellency the Deputy President I am told is the most high-profile professional and leader in this country to attend this very important convention. And therefore, Your Excellency, we thank you very much for accepting to grace this occasion. And for the record, His Excellency the President had accepted to come for this function. But because of exigencies of duties, on a very short notice, he delegated that responsibility to his deputy, who accepted despite the fact that in the next 1 hour, he has even a more important function to preside over in Nairobi, not in Mombasa. And to show you the commitment of the deputy president, he is actually going to leave now and to be ready to land and do that assignment in Nairobi. And thank you, Your Excellency, because you have always been a truthful, committed man in the Republic. Number two, just allow me to say a few remarks before we go. And unfortunately also, I am required to be in the Senate in the next 1.5 hours. And so together, I thank you. I thank you for coming so that I can make it. Otherwise, I will be in trouble. Especially, the senators would have a mincemeal of me because I am formally a majority leader, so I would be in trouble. Engineers play a very critical role, Your Excellency. I say so because I have now had the opportunity to serve 1 year in a sector that is led by engineers. What they didn't tell you, despite the fact that they want more positions, which is a good thing, they didn't tell you that the entire road sector is run by engineers. An entire sector is run by engineers. The DGs are engineers, and by law, the DGs are engineers, the regional directors, engineers, almost everybody is an engineer there, and it's something beautiful. And I like working with them, and being in the midst of people who are speaking science and construction, people who perhaps many people assume that they are not outgoing, but they are outgoing in their hearts, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, this sector also plays a critical role. Indeed, everything, including this building, where we are sitting, the seat you are sitting on, everything is engineering. And therefore, we want to appreciate our professionals for building our country. Our country is what it is because of the professional engineers who have given their energy and time to serve this nation. We have one of the most established infrastructure sectors, whether it is the roads, whether it is the ports, whether it is the air sector that we do not have, that we have not used. Not just engineers from other countries, despite the fact that we continue having engineers coming from other countries, but by and large, I don't think we can say that in this nation, we have more than 10% of foreigners performing engineering work here. In fact, to the contrary, it is the contracts that go to companies that are foreign entities, but the work is done by these same engineers here, which means if we continue building the capacity of our engineers, they should be able to undertake that responsibility themselves directly without necessarily having to go through the other sectors. Your Excellency, we are going to a sector where we are in a generation where we depend on our engineers in the next phase of our development to have a climate-resilient infrastructure, Your Excellency, to use and deploy technology to resolve the problems that we have. We are now adopting the ITS, which is Intelligent Traffic Systems. We are dealing with issues, Your Excellency, of installation of high-speed cameras to enforce our traffic flow in our country. We are also dealing with matters of greening our infrastructure, Your Excellency, and these engineers are going to be in the forefront in making sure that this is delivered. There are only 3 or 4 things I want to say. One is that we need to invest more on training and capacity building of our engineers. I know there is a moratorium. There is a moratorium on how many people can go out for training and so forth. You need to help us, Your Excellency, with the President and the public service to make sure that this moratorium of not traveling, not going for trainings, should not affect the training of our engineers. Your Excellency, without the world is a competitive world. It's a competitive. If these men and women sitting here do not continue updating their knowledge, the knowledge they have will be obsolete. And the changes happens within a year, the environment has already changed. If you tell an engineer that they are not going to be trained, they're not going to update their knowledge, we are likely to suffer the consequences of failing to train. But more importantly, in the university training, we need to invest more in our colleges, in making sure that the training at the university level exposes the students more to practical knowledge than to the theory alone. Meaning that in the funding criteria of assisting the engineering schools, we need to make sure that that process is properly regulated and more resources are given. And EBK, Engineering Board of Kenya, you need to sort out the issues of accreditation of universities so that our children do not graduate and they are now told your institution was not accredited. I think that process should be seamless. We don't want the situation we are in. The second issue, Your Excellency, is professionalism. Your Excellency, professional negligence, even though these engineers are doing a great job, the fear of having some few of them breaking the law, committing acts of professional negligence, has led Your Excellency to sometimes very poor bridges being built or infrastructure. Your Excellency, you know, we have an airport in Nairobi that we renovated just the other day. We haven't even commissioned it. We were hoping to invite you and the President to come and commission. Before commissioning, it's leaking, Your Excellency. And you ask yourself, who was the professional in charge of the standards that are required, including the resident engineer of that place? We need, and I agree with Engineers Board of Kenya, that we need a register that registers all projects and the engineers who supervise the projects, the resident engineer, and the people who are undertaking, the contractors who are undertaking that work, so that we can track, Your Excellency, the people who are operating in our infrastructure and make sure that we hold them into account. And therefore, we support Engineering Board of Kenya in making sure that we register all these professionals and register their project and hold them accountable. Finally, Your Excellency, we want to ensure that in a private sector, particularly the ministries that we lead, including mine, that we hire professionals only on professional grounds. No tribal consideration, no regional consideration, no ethnic consideration. Your Excellency, sometimes you go to a ministry and you find people who completely cannot undertake the work they have been given, only to find out that the minister was his relative, or the PS was the relative, or the DG. In fact, in one of the institutions, I don't want to say, we have been dealing with Engineer Mbugwa, I don't want to say which institution, we found out that most of the professionals who are leading at a top level do not have even the requisite papers to hold the positions they do. And we have exited them quietly, without calling the media, without doing much, because, Your Excellency, we want to make sure that these institutions remain professionals. Something that I promised the country is that I will work hard to make sure that we promote and integrate women engineers to lead in this sector, Your Excellency. I know that in the past people thought that, and you will forgive me for this, that female engineers are very rough people with shaggy hair, with very rough hands, Your Excellency. But you can see how beautiful they are. You saw it for yourself, yeah? But just not physical beauty, but they have the brains and the capacity to lead. And as a father of a daughter, I want my daughter also to grow aspiring to be an engineer and to know that if they become an engineer, they will have an opportunity to serve in this country. Your Excellency, I agree with the people who have said we need to improve the business environment for our engineers, but I want to caution you. Most of you bid for work for the 40% content with foreign companies. But you do so without proper legal advice and protection. In fact, you assist foreign companies to get business in our country because there are mandatory legal standards that have been received. But because you wanted to do it in darkness, you are a professional, but you don't want to use a professional lawyer. And I'm not asking for business for myself. Yeah? You go and agree in a corner somewhere, and then that particular contractor runs away from the contract. How many of you have come to my office saying, I have a payment I'm following from this company, we were part of 40%, help us enforce. If you want the entity and the agency and the country to help you enforce, we want to request you also to go through the proper legal processes of agreeing with the foreign contractor so that your fair share of 40% is secured. And we are ready to protect you, but protect yourself by being also a professional. Your Excellency, I don't want to say more than this. This is not my day, but I felt that I should say these things. These people, Your Excellency, including my sister from South Africa here, my brother here, the president from Nigeria, they have heard about you, but they have not seen you. They know that somewhere in Africa there is a truthful man. And so they don't want me to say too much because this day they came to listen to you. And without much ado, I'd like to ask us to be upstanding to welcome His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, with a hand clap.
Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, Kipchumba Murkomen, the Principal Secretary for Roads, Engineer Joseph Mbugua, the Chairman of Engineers Board of Kenya, Engineer Rastas Mongera, the President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, Engineer Eric Ohaga, the President of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, Engineer Mustafa, President of the World Council of Civil Engineers, Engineer Emilio, incoming President, Federation of African Engineering Organization, Engineer Telezi, President of the European Council of Civil Engineers, Engineer Bradner, engineers, distinguished guests, good morning. You know, when CS Kipchumba Murkomen invited me to this conference, he did not tell me that I'll be addressing so many presidents. I must admit I'm rather intimidated. I'm only used to addressing one president in Kenya, but I'll try to measure up to addressing so many presidents. Please, if I don't measure to your expectation, forgive me. It is a pleasure to address engineers, a gathering of great minds. Our President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, sends his greetings and best wishes. We welcome our guests to Kenya, and for those who have come from across the world, on behalf of President William Ruto and the government of the Republic of Kenya and the people of Kenya, I want to say you are most welcome to this country. And please don't be in a hurry to leave. Christmas and New Year is just approaching. You can remain behind and spend a few dollars, a few euros, and other hard currencies that we really desire as a country. We are delighted to host the 18th General Assembly of the World Council of Civil Engineers under the theme, Engineering a New World. Engineers, distinguished guests, we are discussing engineering a new world because we want to do things differently. Kenya is hosting this international conference when the country is deep into the El Nino, a phenomenon that has disconnected and destroyed infrastructure, especially roads, and buildings are under risk too. Nature is telling us through rethink our strategy and thus rethink our engineering. For instance, El Nino is reminding us that the same technology of building roads is not the engineering of a new world. This is important for Kenya and Africa, a region that is rapidly developing. Engineers and distinguished guests, to rethink our engineering, there must be a paradigm shift, especially in the education system, to groom and nurture new talent and skills. In Kenya, for instance, we are implementing the competence-based curriculum, which focuses more on nurturing skills and talents. In such a system, students gifted in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects will be helped to sharpen their skills for better results. Considering that engineering is one of the most expensive courses, we have revised the funding model for tertiary education to enable students from poor economic backgrounds access the course of their choice. In our commitment to deliver reforms in the education sector, we allocated 27.4% of our national budget in the current financial year. Eminent engineers and distinguished guests, World Bank notes that Africa heavily relies on imported expertise in engineering, resulting from poor quality of education and minimal numbers of graduates from learning institutions. Thousands of our students are studying abroad on scholarships and other exchange programs in our bid to strengthen the local capacity for sustainability. This is largely true for most of our African peers. We'll continue to deepen the collaboration with our development partners in enhancing local expertise in various ways as we seek to close the over 7,000 gap of engineers in the country. We are ready to work with the Institute of the Engineers of Kenya in addressing this gap. It is a call that we share with our sister states in Africa if our continent is to actively contribute to development. May I take this opportunity to emphasize that engineering for a new world must be driven by barrier-breaking innovation. Generating new knowledge means we sharpen the existing expertise through intensified research and development. Companies and organizations have no option but to heavily invest in research and development. As the saying goes, a machete that is not sharpened often rusts. Engineers, we note with admiration that Africa is undergoing rapid transformation through multi-billion US dollar projects. Certainly, Africa is a continent of today, not the future, as often said. There are immense opportunities of investment in various sectors, ranging from agriculture, manufacturing and industry, digital technology, affordable housing, affordable health, among others. We are excited that partners are working with us in investing in these areas. On the other hand, Kenya has just emerged from one of the longest droughts in 4 decades. A number of countries in Africa are facing crises linked to climate change, a factor that is negatively impacting on socio-economic growth. While implementing massive development projects, environment-conscious approach in engineering is inevitable. People-centered engineering is environment-focused. That is why engineering is about providing quality of life, not driving humanity to extinction. Engineers and distinguished guests, engineering is a critical enabler to realize of SDGs, Agenda 2063 of the African Union, and Kenya's Vision 2030, as underpinned by the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Better is our government plans of socio-economic transformation. As we engineer a new world, rapid urbanization in Kenya and Africa has been put to test, especially in collapsing of buildings, bridges, and other infrastructure. We lose people to collapsing buildings and substandard roads, mostly linked to unqualified or uncertified practitioners in the industry. This puts the reputation of the profession under question of a competency of members. We are ready to work with the Engineers Board of Kenya and other relevant agencies in clamping down quacks. Through the right ministries, we invite you for an engagement on legal and policy frameworks. Besides monitoring and regulating education and training, eliminating intruders is one of the ways of restoring dignity to the engineering profession. On this note, I wish to declare the 30th Institution of Engineers of Kenya Annual International Convention and the 18th General Assembly of the World Council of Civil Engineers officially open. That is what I wrote with a small team of people that helped me. I can now speak briefly from my heart and respond to a few issues you have raised. I agree we need to deal with the quacks. In this country, we have many quacks. Many people who profess to be engineers, I don't see them here today. And the truth be said, even the professional engineers, we also have a small challenge with a certain percentage. 95% of our engineers are very professional and they do a very good job. And we are proud of you as a profession. All these magnificent buildings are a result of good engineering. People who have not been in Nairobi for a long time, when they come to Nairobi, they lose their way because Nairobi is something different. The Thika Superhighway, the Express Highway, Times Tower, KICC, a building that was put in 1972, still a magnificent piece of architecture and good engineering. And we are really very grateful to the profession. But we have a 5% of engineers who are not very straight. They are not truthful. They lack integrity. They connive with contractors to compromise standards. We have roads that have been started even before the completion date. They are potholes. And those roads were certified by engineers and paid. What the CS Kipchumba is talking about, the airport, I've seen some people castigating him when he said yesterday what happened about JKIA, but that is the truth. You know, people in this country are allergic to truth. And quite a number have a problem with me. But there's nothing they can do. Because the truth is the truth. JKIA was done at a massive cost. But today is a shame to this profession of engineers and architects. Public resources were expended. When you go there, you feel sorry. But engineers, QSs, and architects certified. And on the basis of that certification, payments were made. And that's why I agree with the CS. I think, Engineer Mongera, we may want to look at the law where professionals are held accountable for lapses and for misleading the taxpayer by certifying shoddy jobs, and probably they become culpable criminally. I think that would help this country. And I have seen beautiful work done by many engineers, but the small percentage is spoiling your profession. Because when Kenyans condemn, they don't just condemn that particular engineer. They condemn the whole profession. I think the institutes and the engineering board, the registration board, needs to tighten the regulatory self-assessment mechanism so that among yourselves, you instill ethical standards and get rid of people who are not serious from the profession without even having the outside world intervene. I think internally you can have a self-regulation mechanism that is watertight so that those who are spoiling the name of the profession can be weeded out. And then probably they can join us either in politics or in farming or in any other field. I have heard you want to join politics. you want to be brought in the decision-making table, you are welcome. We want to welcome you. And your Honorary Secretary said that in the next cabinet reshuffle, you want to join the cabinet. But even before you join the cabinet, you are well represented. Engineer Joseph Mbugua is a Principal Secretary for Roads, and he is doing a good job in marketing you as good managers. Engineer John Tanui is a Principal Secretary for ICT. Engineer Festus Ngeno is a Principal Secretary for Environment and Climate Change. I don't think you are doing it. I don't think there will be a reshuffle because the guys who are there are working well so far. But in the unfortunate event, one of them there's a vacancy we can consider. But I trust that you will not sabotage your CS so that he fails, so that you create a vacancy. I think CS Kipchumba Murkomen is the only non-engineer in the ministry. So wacha pia akae na nyinyi hapo, support him so that he succeeds. And you engineers, you are saying that you are happy the president came to your function. I'm here today. It's by choice. And it's very deliberate. Nimwambia nyinyi ukweli. Yeah? The last election, you people, among many other professionals, were incited against us. That's the truth. Professionals were incited against us. That we have no idea about leading a country, we are useless, we are hustlers, sisi ni jua kali, among you people. So we are deliberately getting closer to you so that you understand us. So, tutakuwa na nyinyi. Every function, president or myself will be with you. Mukipiga kona, tunapiga na nyinyi. Mpaka mtuzoe na mtukubali na mtupende. We know one or two things. We are not engineers, lakini sisi ni engineers ya mambo ya nchi. We are not in your league, but we also have our own political engineering. So we are going to be near you. And you can see, we are not that bad. Tunajua kitu. So we'll continue engaging with you because you play an important part in our economic development. And professionalism is what our government is all about, strengthening institutions, enhancing their capacity so that we have a beautiful country that is run by professionals. So please give it your all. The President and I and the rest of us will support you to a hilt. You have talked about you people getting involved in county government projects. I'm aware that sometimes the governors are not using professionals. What I will do, the President, I'll organize during the IBEC meeting next, you come and make a presentation to the governors so that you talk to them. You are saying you want to be involved. We have a beautiful program, affordable housing program, to do 200,000 units of houses per year. That is 1 million houses in our 5-year first term. That program has everything to do with you people. Structural engineers will be there, civil engineers will be there, electrical engineers will be there, mechanical engineers will be there. And I want you to request you to participate fully. That is huge investment in this country, and your place is well set. Be part of the affordable housing. And that is why when we were pushing that program, it looked like people thought it's an unpopular thing. There are two things to do: to dignify the people of Kenya by giving them affordable housing, again creating employment for our professionals and for our artisans. So that is a huge opportunity for you people as engineers to get involved. And I want to request you to make sure that we maintain our standards. even in the whole of this space of 200,000 units per year, it's important that you people help the country to make sure that we maintain our standards so that those houses are safe, not just for now, but for posterity. Again, you have made a request that you want an executive engineering council to sit at the presidency to advise the president. I'll communicate this request to him. And he'll apply his wisdom in the usual manner and make a consideration. And if, in his considered opinion, you can add value to his leadership, and I think you can, he'll be able to make the appropriate decision. Finally, you people, good people, let's do what we must do and walk the straight path. When you go through Nairobi in these lands and you look at some of the buildings there, somewhere there is an engineer who appended their signature. During the approval stage, and as you continue with the construction, you have a responsibility, you have a destiny with history to do what is right and live to your oath of office so that we take care of our country. About you getting involved in projects, in 2018, I was a member of parliament. And in my earlier life, I was also a contractor. And I still do some little construction. You know, construction is very addictive. Very. When you have nothing to build, you knock a few things so that you rebuild them again. Even now, since I came to this position, I have knocked about 3-4 buildings. I keep on building every day. I brought a private member's bill in 2018, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill of 2018. And in that bill, I had proposed, as a legislative proposal, that all procurement up to 1 billion Kenyan shillings be reserved exclusively for indigenous Kenyans. Again, in that bill, I had proposed what the CS was saying here to cure, that the 40% content for the local people be defined properly as a separate bid document, so that anything above 1 billion to infinity, the foreigner can do 60%, the local person can do 40%, but there are 2 bid documents in one, so that the foreigner will get the 60%, the local person who will join jointly at 40%, but paid directly by the employer. That bill was defeated, was thrown out in the Finance Committee when we had changes through the handshake nonsense. And these people came, because they don't understand anything to do with investment, they came and killed that bill. And now that we are in government, me and the CS and the leader of majority in the National Assembly, I think we need to work on that CS immediately to make it very clear that the foreigner cannot shortchange the local person. You just do your work, you are paid separately, he is paid separately. Is that okay? I think that's what we need to work on. Finally, on pending bills, the President last week inaugurated the Pending Bills Committee, led by very eminent persons. The chairperson is the immediate former Auditor General. We have nearly 600 billion in terms of pending bills. And I know you people here are affected. I saw with my own eyes many people who did work for government, their property was auctioned, including residential houses. Many people went under depression. Some hanged themselves. Even families broke because of pending bills. And what we have done is put up a committee to scrutinize all bills, verify them, and then validate them so that those that are payable are paid. And we do away with this issue of pending bills because it is not good for our budgetary cycle. It creates a problem every year. So that exercise is going on. And in due course, we are getting organized as a government to put aside funds to clear our pending bills and progressively make sure that we avoid pending bills by asking the procuring entities not to enter into contracts unless the money is available, so that we do away with the issue of pending bills. So I'm sure that along the way, that should be done, and that should be able to settle the issue once and for all. So I want to say I'm grateful to talk to eminent engineers and to encourage you to continue having a discussion with our brothers from across the corner in the world, and sisters for that matter, and let's exchange ideas. My boss, President William Ruto, tells us every day, a good idea must give room to a better idea, and a better idea ultimately should give way to the best idea. This interaction and continuous consultation is healthy, so that what happens in South Africa, we can learn from there, you know. And the president from South Africa, one of your people came here to try to lecture us about this country. He came in the morning. By 2:30, he knew more than ourselves who have lived here for the last 50 years. So we want you to learn from here and quietly whisper your good ideas to these people, so that when we visit other countries, we share our experiences quietly. We don't go to lecture people from other countries, because it's an African. It's not good. When you are a visitor, you come to my house. Even if I'm not swept well, you don't have to tell me. You just look around and you can whisper to somebody on your way out that you could have